Hi everybody, I'm Missi with Matt Williamson, and we are at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. Week 1 of OTAs is in the books, and Matt, what did you learn or what did you see and what are you taking away from this first week? Obviously it's voluntary, but there were a lot of guys here.
Yeah, I mean the things that jumped out at you are just the energy, and everyone's excited to be here. Things are getting back to normal in the world and at the facility, but also the youth. I mean, there's a lot of familiar faces from the last couple of years that aren't here anymore. There's going to be a lot of, especially in the offensive side of the ball, gelling together and growing up as a unit. So I think that's really interesting.
I think, even playing along with the youth card, there's so many guys that don't even know what open locker room is. And the media's been allowed back in the locker room, and it's one of those things where you kind of got to figure out where guys are. But that's something new for them as well.
Along those lines, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we were talking about it yesterday. A very high percentage of the players here haven't been to Latrobe and have never had open lockers. I mean, including Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's never been to St. Vincent's. I mean, so some of those older guys have been here for a little while. It's amazing.
All right, we don't want to talk about training camp just yet, but we are getting there, I guess, if we're at OTAs. The quarterbacks, I think we're going to continue to talk about them until we know who the starter is going to be on September 11th. But the guys up front, the guys in front of them, there's a lot of change there. What are you seeing in terms of the pieces that they added? And, when do you think we'll know who the starting 5 are?
Probably will be a little while. I think that there are 3 spots that are very secure. I think center and left guard are a little up in the air, but there's only a couple guys fighting for them. I think what's really remarkable about this offensive line is while there might not be a super standout, Pouncey DeCastro player, they have a remarkable blend now of youth and experience, which is rare, as well as the ability to keep these guys together for a couple years in a row and let them grow and create continuity and get to know each other really well. So I think this is a tremendous legacy that Kevin Colbert has left with how he built this line. They're all so young, but they've played a lot of football.
Speaking of Kevin Colbert, we know that he stepped down after the Steelers draft, and Omar Khan has been named the GM. What's it like? You were a scout before, just having that transition of somebody else being in charge, and who knows what's going to happen in terms of the staff and what they do with that.
It's a hard thing to comment on. I mean, the year I was with the Browns, we had a lot of change in typical Browns fashion, and there was a 180-degree turn of how we looked at players, everything we did with the different regimes. I would be shocked if that's the case here. I doubt that these guys are going to come in and change the grading system or how they look at players. But I do think it's really interesting that you're going to have an analytical, numbers-driven guy at the top. So there'll probably be more salary cap, cognizant than they have been in the past, and how all the contracts fit together. So I think those are some things that might just kind of tweak an already really strong system.
All right, well, week 2 picks up after Memorial Day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week. We, of course, will have you covered. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Thanks for your time as well.
Absolutely, it was fun.
We'll see you guys next week.